Do you know you have more to lose in your 30s doing a shower work than you do in your 20s?
What kind of stuff do you would lose in your 30s? I actually want to know. I'm intrigued by that.
You want to know?
But yeah, what kind of stuff would you lose in your 30s? Let's just say.
What up, people? It's your favorite podcast man back again with another one. I'm Michael Scenario.
And I'm very welcome, Koya.
And you're welcome to another episode of Menisms. How you feeling, my G?
Not bad at all.
How you feeling? How's your week been? How's everything
It's
going?
been pretty restful, actually. Birthday last week.
Oh shit, 30 plus, man.
It was a very 30 plus birthday. Just chilled.
You hit.
That's the literal.
You hit for your birthday. I don't know why you weren't trying to celebrate it, but
Nah, that's like my ritual now. I just hide. You can call me, you can text me, but you would not see me on that day. I'm just chilling, taking it all in, and just really restful day.
So in your new age of wisdom, what would you say you learned from your last age?
Well, just turning 26.
God punish you.
To be honest, I guess I haven't really felt it yet, which is normal. You only start to feel that new age after a couple of months. But yeah, I guess as you get older and you start having birthdays as you're older, you start thinking about all the stuff you haven't achieved yet, which is normal. But at the same time, reflecting on things you have achieved and how far you've come, and the things you really didn't expect would be present in your life at the moment. If somebody told me 4 years ago that I'll be doing podcasts, I'd be like, how? What do you mean? You get so. But then here I am now, and it's one of those few things to just really look at and say that it's still be thankful for life. Not really thankful.
This is a very 30 plus answer. Like
Exactly.
the way you're just reflecting.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm
this
still
is the
26,
most-
but
It's like, you can't even
immature
lie again
26-year-old.
because 26-year-old know they're 26 like, yo, I just want to party. I want to have a good time and all that.
Fair enough.
I just want to thank the Lord because, there was a
Not
time.
thank the Lord. Don't kill me, please.
They thank God.
No, I do. I literally am thanking God for life. But anyways, yeah. It's been really restful. It's been a calm week. How about yours?
I would say it has been this is a new week. I thank God. I really had it.
That is.
I know. So
Sorry, how old are you?
I'm 31 actually. I had a very stressful week, and then I just sat down and said, you know what, God, I feel like this last month I've not been myself.
Right.
Because I had a lot of stress with work, a lot of stress on the outside. So it's been coming out. So I've just told myself, I remember I just sat down this week and there was a point I told you, my Gen Blue, NEPA Blue.
Yeah, I remember about that.
Then work was just
Nigeria's
been up
been
and down
happening to
this week. And when Nigeria stress gets to you, and then if people, it sometimes spills over, sometimes, so it's just it's been like that. I'm just I just sat down this week and I just said, God, man, you know what? I'm thankful for everything. And then I just said, you know what? I'm turning a new leaf today. I'm just peace, moving forward.
Your Gen Sports and you turned a new leaf? Your Gen Sports and you turned a new leaf?
My Gen Sports. Yeah, because I just realized how angry I was this month, man. People, sometimes, little things just irritate you more and more. And you're I'm coming out my characters on. I was just you know what? Peace and love, moving on from now. Because I just realized it was spilling over too much now. And then it's nah. It's about to be a new month in June. So me, I was just the first 5 months, with the first 5 months being gone, it doesn't mean your next 6 months cannot be better.
Yeah,
so that's how I'm now moving forward with this new month coming in. I'm just all right, clean slate.
Fair enough. Sounds like good energy. Sounds like solid
I'm trying to be more positive this year. We're at 30 now, so if you start frowning, wrinkles start showing at this age. If you start frowning and being angry, and I'm I still want to look very youthful. Even my beard, I'm thinking maybe I might cut off the beard so I can look like a young boy again. Thing is, I was actually cute without a beard.
Guys,
I was actually cute without a beard. I feel like that's the thing. I was actually in my bad boy stage with no beard.
Fair enough. So you're trying to go back to your bad boy stage?
I didn't say that. I've retired from that life. I would
Have
not.
You really?
We're forward, not
You're
backward.
reminiscing on it. Are you sure?
No. The look was there.
Right.
The actions. I know
Fair
the
enough.
repercussions already. So why would I go back when I know the repercussions?
Understandable.
Do you know you have more to lose in your 30s doing a shower work than you do in your 20s?
What kind of stuff do you would lose in your 30s? I actually want to know. I'm intrigued by that.
You want to know?
But yeah, what kind of stuff would you lose in your 30s? Let's just say.
Well, your name for one.
You didn't have a name in your 20s?
I would say.
Well, you're more established
The thing
in your 30s.
is, even if you have a name in your 20s, you can risk having those fall-offs or those woman issues in your 20s comparing your 30s where
Okay, I see what you mean. Sorry.
excuse me, you can have, there's more risk involved. So for example, my 20s, if I got in trouble and all that, oh, he's a player, he's a bad boy, he does this. Okay. You're even adding on to my ego and also my profile.
Right.
But in my 30s now, for me, maybe it's because now it's like there's more wisdom and there's also shame.
You're also even dealing with a lot higher profile people.
And I got more, there's more. And when I say more to lose, it's like, for example, I'm a business owner now. Like, my name is out there for reasons that also ties around my business. So I have to be careful. So that's why I say there's more to lose. And like I say, I don't have that patience that I did in my 20s with women anymore.
Fair enough.
Do you?
I definitely don't. Definitely.
I have for one woman.
Yeah,
but not the 5, 10.
Yeah,
hey, man.
It's a whole sport. But I mean, we'll get to it.
Do you know there's a point that there's probably times we had girls in different states or different countries.
Who is this we you keep talking about?
Why are you in there now?
I can't relate to that.
I'm at least accepting my truth. I'm accepting my truth.
I mean, I've talked about it here on the podcast before.
We had energy to do this country. Bro, there was one point I was doing, by the time I do night Lagos, I'm still staying up for America. Then I'll still wake up early for London the next day. Then
yeah, that time difference one was not working out for me. I tried it.
I was doing it for a minute, bro.
It's tough because when you're sleeping is when they're just getting in.
Bro, and I at one point, God forgive me, there was like I had East Coast, I had West Coast.
Which was still different time zones.
It was still different time zone. And you're still in Nigeria. And it's not even that there's 24-hour lights in your own house. So. It is well.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, anyways, which is our usual custom, we are going to be reading some of your questions, experiences. But before that, I need me a drink.
Yes, please.
Need me a drink.
Can we have a drink?
So in this our new segment, we're going to be having several activities actually. We're going to be reading experiences, we're going to be reading questions, but we're also going to be trying to introduce some games. If you guys have any ideas of what we could do with this segment, please send them in. Yeah, but we're going to get right into it. We're going to read some questions that some people have sent in while he does his work. Okay, so...
I'll be bartender now. Is that what you're trying to say?
Maybe.
I used to be a bartender. I actually used to be a bartender at one point.
Now we're talking about something.
Another story for another day.
Story for another day.
Salud.
Let me drink this because what people are sending in... I'm going to drink.
Oh, that was very... I definitely am. You know when you just drink...
Okay, all right, so let's get right in. I'll read the first one. So the first one says, from Jido, or Jido, Jido, I guess.
Okay.
Hi, guys. So there's this girl I really like. I really, really, really like, but she's with someone else. This is why we take the drinks. I tried to look away, but it's not helping. We are in the same A&R office together, and we're working on an artist together. For my own good, I had to step back from the project because I don't want to hurt myself again and again. And she has made it clear she's in a relationship, but I still can't get her out of my mind, even if I try. She has been there for me several times, and now I'm dependent on her. I just want her out of my head, please.
What kind of... That's a I would say... For that kind of decision, one, how old are you? Actually, I take that back because it's not by age your feelings or emotions are like there's no age range to say, oh, by this age you have to have your emotions in control of this. Obviously, at a certain age you want to have a certain level of maturity and control, but if the feelings are there, the feelings are there. Now, obviously, she's a taken woman, so no matter what, like, bro, there's millions of women in this world. And there's a woman out there with that same personality that might even be finer than this girl that's there for you, that's single, that's just waiting. So why waste your time and energy over one person that's also in the comfort zone of your area in terms of where you work, where you're always seeing her? So there's a level of comfortability you probably have. But this is a big world. Like, you are definitely going to find somebody out there. She's happy with somebody. So why stress yourself when she's not even stressing you?
To be honest... I guess every guy has experienced this kind of thing where you're liking someone who has a boyfriend, right? You know she's kind of a no-go area or she's just unreachable, if I say. But what I will say is it's a very valid, emotion to experience. So first of all, don't beat yourself up about it. Secondly, it's not exactly one that's so easy to move on from because, there's this thing about human nature and wanting something you can't have. And so by virtue of that, the feelings keep getting stronger the more you try to walk away. Yeah, it's human nature.
God forbid, right? No.
You may have been able to conquer that emotion. But
I agree with you in terms of there's some things that are hard, like walk away from, yes. Mm-hmm. But with woman, will I admit maybe at one point in my life when I was younger, yes. But to now say I'm stuck on you, especially when you have a man, I'm like, forever. No. So
let's put in some more context that he's given to us. They work together, right? Mm-hmm. And they're working on a project together, working on artists together. She's been there for him, according to what he said, right? Now, being there for him is, first of all, something that a man doesn't always experience from the opposite sex. Mm-hmm. Which then means that those experiences he's holding more dear than his regular female friends or even other women he's talking to or trying to move on from her with, right? So imagine where I'm trying to move on from this girl that has a boyfriend, and then the people I'm talking to are bringing me back to the same problem she's solving. I don't know how you see it.
I get what you mean.
So again, it makes it hard for me to want to walk away from her because one, I'm seeing her every day. We work at the same office. Two, she's probably this, approachable person because she's put me in her bubble now. She's been there for me every now and then. But she's also had to remind me that those things are just maybe of her good nature and she's not doing it out of wanting more from me. And so I have to always remind myself that she doesn't like it. That's not why she's doing this. She's doing this because she's nice.
Just a good person.
So it's hard. It's hard.
But
and I get that.
It's like we're having the same conversation with him as like a guy. Yeah. Like if he was my guy now, like we've been in situations where probably nobody has told us that kind of thing. And a lot of men actually go through this problem by themselves because even to communicate it to somebody now, you usually don't even tell this kind of thing to your boys like that unless it's just like, I need to get it out. So if I'm talking to him like he's my boy, again, you might work with her, but bro, again, there's so many girls out there. And even those problems she got you through, you have to now use this period to find out how you're going to handle it for yourself in terms of take those lessons you learned from her and apply it for yourself. Because she's not always going to be there now. She's not your babe. And that's what I'm saying, bro. You have so much life to live. You they do well for yourself. You they work. Like, you have a whole life. Don't let this one woman... Now, if he said it was his ex... Or if he said they used to sleep together or something, that's different. But if nothing has happened and she's just a friend, hey, bro, you got to let that go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously of the same opinion. To be honest, there are really no cheat codes to how to, like, get over someone you really, 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 according to him, times 3, really, really, really like.
Oh, there's cheat code, though.
Okay, give us some tips.
Jesus!
Don't kill me.
There's Jesus. Go to the Lord.
So, first of all, he hasn't said he's even Christian, so there's that.
Okay, go to whoever. Respectfully, I don't want to announce how it's blasphemy, but go to whoever you're worshiping. Pray to God. God. Everybody they serve one God. It's just different. So go to God. Honest. I sound like I'm joking, but on some seriousness, I was trying everything. I know for me when I was going through my own stuff those years, long time ago.
Of course.
I used to try everything. I tried talking to my boys, didn't work. Tried talking to other girls, didn't work. Tried, dating girls, definitely didn't work. Family, didn't work. Right. The days I actually started talking to God and actually I actually had to vent to God, like, God, I'm tired of this guy. Bro, it was like film trick. It was crazy. Like even me now, sometimes I look back at my old self and I'm like, Maiwa, you used to sit down in your room and cry over a woman. Oh. You used to cry over a woman. And now I look at myself, let me not say never.
Yeah, I was about to say don't say
obviously, wifey is different now, you understand? Like, once you get married now, that's the only woman I should be. Apart from my wife, my daughter, my mother, my grandmother. Those are the 4 women I should be crying over. Unless you're a female family member.
Right. Well, I mean, again, so the summary is pray. Pray about this. Pray. Right? There's hardly any...
There's no right answer.
Human solution at the moment, right? It's an emotion and you have to work on yourself to get over it. It's the difficult part of having to be a man and an adult. So,
I'll read the next one. By Lover Girl. Hey guys, love the pod. Do you believe in princess treatment? I love my man treating me like a princess, but then I worry that this kind of dynamic doesn't always translate to respect in relationships. I mean, realistically, how much of an equal can a guy see a girl whose lifestyle he funds? Also, what's the best way a girl has shown you they love you before and vice versa?
First of all, there's nothing wrong with princess treatment. But I think I'll start with answering her, I imagine, her latter question, which was, how's a girl shown you love and vice versa. And I think how you're being shown love or how you perceive love is also really tied to your love language and all that stuff. And I'm very big on like acts of service or words of affirmation. And so I feel like the people who've shown me love are first of all people who've taken the time to understand who I am and understand how I like to love. And so from there, when they do that thing that they know you like to love, to me, it's a show of love. So, for example, I like gifts, but one of my languages is not really gift giving. So I don't like to receive. I'm not someone who, when I receive gifts, I see it as, oh, this person really loves me, right? And so if somebody who is trying to show me love just gives me a gift, I appreciate it, but I don't feel that person loves me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's just them showing that that's how they like to show love. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like they love me enough to want to. But if you take your time to understand who I am, then you understand that, yeah, I want to gift him, but he's not really a gift person. I want something that he likes.
Fair.
When someone does something I like, it shows that extra step to know what I like and then go ahead to do it is the way I like to see love. So in her case now, the princess treatment, for example, you see, everybody has an umbrella idea of what princess treatment should be, which is, always open the car door for me, always make sure that, I'm pampered in any way I can. But again, I'm not a woman, so I can't really say what everybody sees princess treatment as. But I imagine that it's not everyone that has one definition of how they would like to be treated as a princess, right? And so, what I'm trying to say here is that the concept of a princess treatment is not like, it's not something you should see as a bad thing. Every woman should always, demand to be treated as a princess in the capacity that they want. It could be that your desire for being treated as a princess is that you always want to, be spoken to. You always want the person that you want to talk to be there for you. That might be your idea of princess treatment. That, okay, whenever I need an ear, you're always there, regardless of what you're doing, where you are at the time, right? That's a version of it. And I think, if that's the case, then everybody should get princess treatment. She mentioned something about a guy treating someone like a princess, but not seeing her on the same level. She mentioned like that.
I mean, to me,
I
was just gonna say, like, personally, to each their own. I've given up on answering questions for women now because there's never ever gonna be a correct answer, and it's always based on their perspective and their lifestyle. Because for me, obviously, any girl I'm dating is going to get some kind of princess treatment in terms of from the things she tells me and the things I like to do for a woman. So it's mainly things I like to do for a woman are usually the things that make her happy. Like, I'll pay attention to those details and treat her like a princess in the way she wants. But that is the way she wants, because the way she likes some things that are considered princess treatment might not be princess treatment to another girl. And the things that some girls consider princess treatment is like, I don't want to do that kind of thing. Like, I'll give you an example. We're going off extremes. There's some, and it always tends to money stuff, but it's like, for example, now, a princess treatment some girls may see is like, oh, my man has to be giving me an allowance. Mm-hmm. Something like that. Or another girl's princess treatment is, oh, she wants, let's say, massages when she comes home from work. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there are two different things that no answer is wrong of the princess treatment, but it depends on the individual. Because to somebody else, giving you an allowance now is like, why am I giving you an allowance when, I'm just dating you? While to some men, they're like, yeah, I don't mind. Then to some guys, it's like massaging is like, there's some things I don't like doing. And then there's some guys, they like it. So long story short, my answer is just princess treatment. I don't mind it. If you're dating me, of course you're going to get it. How has somebody shown me love? A lot of girls have shown me love. And there's even times I realized a lot of girls were showing me love that I didn't know how to love them back. In terms of I didn't have the emotional maturity or I wasn't in the right place. Now, not every girl. Obviously, there are a lot of girls I showed them back and it's still all love till now. But I acknowledge now that there are a lot of girls that showed me love in various ways, whether it's taking their time to talk to me, taking their time to listen, taking their time to attend something that I wanted them to attend, And what I also realize is, do you feel a lot of girls are actually showing you love because it's genuine love or showing you love because you're attractive? Because it's the same way with women now where, let's be real, you are kinder and nicer to fine girls.
To the girls you're attracted to.
There we go. I mean, that's people in general. Whoever you're attracted to, you tend to be more nice to. Mm-hmm. So is that still real love? that they're showing, because they can also be attracted to you, not just from a physical sense that they like you. Because notice how some girls will show you love, but the day you get a girlfriend now, they switch.
I'm sorry. I know you know I'm like.
I'm just saying.
Right.
I've noticed it where there are some girls that were showing hella love before, and no sexual acts happened, nothing. Like, there was no, maybe you didn't even see, you were never looking at her in that way because you're like, oh, this is genuine. She likes me like for who I am. Okay. The day they find out you have a girlfriend now, you ain't hearing from that person no more. That person's not hitting you up as before, or the energy has shifted. So that makes me now ask the question, were you genuinely showing me love? Or was it that because you liked me, that's why you were showing, because I was single and you liked me, that's why you were showing me love?
Well, I mean, in most cases, show of love is always with some intention. You're either trying to get some reward for you showing love to somebody else, in most cases, right? Whereas, I mean, I guess the definition of showing love should not come with that, but again, another topic for another time. And yeah, I think summary of that is, because she mentioned something I say, and I want to wrap that up quickly, because we're spending too much time on this. She said that, how does the dynamic of a guy showing you princess treatment still, keep the balance of equality in the relationship? And for me, I think it doesn't shake the balance in any way. Any guy that feels like he should suddenly see you as less because he's treating you like a princess, then it becomes a personal problem for the guy, right? I can't imagine that I'm treating someone as a princess, doing everything she deserves, right? And then, I'm now then saying she's not, she can be a fellow stakeholder and all the things that, pertain to the matters of the relationship. She can't be seen as on the same level.
Wait, say that again.
So say for example, I'm buying land. I feel like I shouldn't involve her in transactions like that because, well, we're not really. I'm the head of the family. I'm dealing with it. I see myself in a higher level than I see her, based on the fact that I'm treating her as a princess, so to say, or I'm giving her that.
I mean,
softer
provider. I mean,
life.
this is one, women may not like to hear this, but you do open yourself to that when, again, you're accepting. Not that anything's wrong with accepting money, but if the relationship is stemmed from that, or that's one of the major foundations, then what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like, if we're saying it real for real.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, to avoid that, it has to just again be that the dynamics of the relationship are so clear that outside of that treatment, you both still see each other in the way that you both expect to see each other. So
yeah, fair. I mean, there's a lot to it, but let's ask another question. Since we're not asking each other a few questions, there was a question you wanted to ask me earlier when we were talking about
yeah. So actually, thinking about it now, we're drinking this now. Actually, I just remember that Shiva's slogan is "I rise, we rise," and I mean, it's just something that's randomly on top of my head. What do you think that means? Because I mean, I have my own, definition of ideas, but I want to hear what you think first.
It's just talking about collaboration, to be honest. Because if you say I rise, we rise, is the people you work around, the people you have in your circles. If you're able to uplift one another and connect one another, very similar to like communities, everybody ends up winning. Now, obviously, that's not always necessarily the case, but that's why it's also good to have wisdom, or make sure you have genuine people around you that, again, if you rise, they're rising with you. If they rise, you're also going along with them.
So, it's not everyone that thinks this is the way to go, like as a life philosophy. You would think that everyone thinks, oh, I rise, rather. But do you honestly, have you met people who.
No, that's what I said earlier. I said, like, that's not always the case.
Right, okay.
But, yeah. I mean.
So have you had any personal experiences of people who you can just tell, these guys is just trying to have this solo trip, and, how do you think is someone you need to steer in the right direction of, look, try and put your people on, you're in this position because somebody else put you on this opportunity. Why are you then, attacking this journey solo? I mean, because I've had personal experiences where
I'll let you know, then I'll think.
People, okay. So I've had personal experiences where, because I love the statement "I rise, you rise," right? It's almost what I live by, and I live by it because my life revolves around it. It could be from support from my family, it could be from support from my friends, support from work staff, people you didn't even expect to support you, that just by virtue of the fact that they like who you are as a person, they put you on some game that even your closest blood wouldn't have put you on. Do you get? So I've had instances where the people you expect to carry you along in this journey of success or in this career journey will then just, nip your relationship in the bud, especially as pertains your career. It could even be someone as close as your brother, your sister. I've had cases where that person was in a position to put you on and maybe give you the right heavy referral, and then you see them putting somebody else's name on the table, and you're like, I don't understand. Like,
But did you
you're even
expect?
in this position
Did you
because
expect?
I told somebody
But
to.
then did you? That's you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But the thing I've noticed is sometimes we disappoint ourselves having that expectation. It's supposed to be like on paper, like you said. If I do something for you, you do something for me. But is that not what disappoints us? Is that expectation that because I did it, you have to now do it? Because in the end, human beings now, you can never tell straight 100% how they're going to be. You can only vouch for yourself. So it's something I've been asking myself a lot recently. And I think that's why it's like I've had to now be careful in how I use my relationships or bring people in my relationships. Because you asked me the question, has happened to me, and I was thinking of it. And funny enough, with Sunday at Ilashe, that was basically my theme for it. When I started it, the theme was supposed to be a case of building a community that rises together, that whoever is coming to the events can network, can build with people. Whether you're from the island, whether you're from the mainland, whether you're a working professional, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a creative, whether you're an entertainer, all of you come together to connect that all of us are now helping to lift one another when we're all in those positions. Because in the next 10, 20 years, a lot of us are going to be in the positions that are moving this country.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's from the early ages now that we're all meeting where those connections are being made that will now help us all rise. And even with like people that worked along with me, like DJs, all the DJs, all the people that worked with me, like hype men, everything.
And
again,
support staff, stuff like that.
Exactly. It was a case of, yo, if I like you, come do my party, and then let's give you a platform so you go and do your other stuff. And the same thing works. So there was a lot of greatness that came from it. That's why things sped up quick. I had a lot of success. But then obviously, like every story behind the scenes, you had a lot of those cases where you put people in positions and they changed on you. You put people in positions and it's like you would think they'll be grateful, but and that's like, as I said, there's both positive and negatives. But then what I had to learn is at the time I took it very personal in those things. But now I've looked back on it and then it's like the way I'm just moving forward now is there's no expectation. If I put somebody in a position to rise, it's because I want to do it from my own heart. And then if it's a case, it works out that you do the same for me, we all rise together. Do I know my tribe of people that no matter what, we rise together and everything? Of course, I have that tribe. But for anybody outside that tribe, it's now just a case of, hey, if I do it for you, I'm doing it out of the grace of my heart, but I hope you too, you do the same for me, so we rise together.
All right, well, I mean, that pretty much sums it up, and that kind of opens the door to today's topic. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about our experiences in our 20s and what I don't know about you, I'm still in my 20s.
OG way.
And what you've really taken from that into your 30s. And you mentioned something in the earlier parts of this episode which had to do with expectations from people. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I feel like that was a younger version of me, because I feel like that's a younger version of everybody. Mm-hmm. When you're building a community of people, you're building a close circle you want to build, it has to come with trust, right? Trust is the reason why you've truncated that into your small group. And why you say, okay, this is my guy, that's my guy, that's my guy, is because you have more trust in those people than everybody else in your circle. And so, by virtue of that trust, you're building a legacy, right? Because you're building something that can be picked up on by either your children or even their children. So you're trying to build a legacy together. And in doing that, you're definitely opening doors to opportunities that they will benefit from. They are doing the same for you. And so you expect a very symbiotic relationship. You expect something that can work. This works for you. That works for me. So basically, if I see something I'm going to plug you, you should know that. If you see something, you should plug me. It's an unspoken rule, right? Now, that trust is established. So naturally, the trust will come with expectations. If you don't trust someone, you can't expect anything, right? And so by virtue of trusting that person, we already said it, you already expect that when they see something that works for you, they plug you in. It should be a no-brainer, right? Now, they get to an opportunity where, in fact, it might be the deal of your entire life, right? They've gotten to that position because you've plugged them in. Of course, they've done the work to get to the point, but you plugged them in. You got that first step into the door, and they've done the work all the way to the top. And then they are now in the position to plug you in. Now remember that so you've plugged them in, they've gone up this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're here, they are now in the position to plug you in so you can match up again, and then you guys keep building like that. And then they get to that point, and then the discussions on the table about who can do this best, and that's your field. That's what you do the most. He knows this is your guy. He's your, you guys are pretty much a team. And then right there and then, he drops somebody else's name on the table. In fact, he doesn't even tell you about the opportunity. You hear it from a third party.
This happened to me.
Exactly. So, and that's what lets you know that. So as much as you want to say you're expecting too much, we've all had those cases where we expected too much because we had those people we trusted and built with. And so they're at that position. Somebody else is telling you that this guy dropped somebody else's name. I thought he was your guy. I was expecting him to. In fact, that person telling you was even going to say that they would have put your name forward, but they were not in the position to talk. That kind of thing. And so when you get burnt like that, it gets difficult to really navigate. And that's why we were talking earlier about, what you've learned in your 20s, in your 30s now, how do you manage that? Because if you've learned that and you've been burnt like that now, it's going to be hard for you to trust people to that level again, naturally, right? Because that's how the human mind works. But you have to also understand that you still have to work with that. You rise, I rise, everybody moves.
I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, like now, I have to just use a lot more wisdom because, like you say, from the experiences you've learned, but you still need to have an open mind to have those relationships. Like, for me, I'm in the entertainment sector. Let's just call it what it is. That is the fakest industry in the world.
To be honest.
Let's just call it what it is.
Fake smiles.
Fake, everybody's mouth. Hey, my bro, my guy, my this. Meanwhile, half of us don't actually know each other. Like, okay, let me not speak for me because I actually know people. But some people, you've never been to their houses. You've never had conversations outside of the parties. You don't know their
last name.
You don't know their last name, their family. But it's my bro, it's my guy. Oh, I got you on this. I'm working on this thing. Don't worry. And then when it comes time to push and shove, you see a lot of, okay, silence. Yeah. Now, again, that's the negative side of it because there's still a lot of positives. Like in Lagos especially, like, I know there's the negatives of the entertainment industry is the fakest one, but I will not lie to you. I've benefited a lot from it. There's a lot of people that have put my name down for things that have helped me in so many ways in this Lagos. And that's why I've sped up my career, I'll say, very quickly. Because people think I've been here for a short time, but I've been here for a while. But I've built those relationships. And there's some people now that were not even as close, but because we always saw each other at events or we spoke, they've put my name down for something. It's like, I know, for example, Native Land. When Native Land happened in December, TZ and I have known each other like from afar for a while. But it's in the last few years, like we started talking a lot more because we'll see each other more frequently. But again, we've known each other for years because of DRB and all that. So eventually, as we started talking more and more, he's the one that came to me. He's like, bro, I always see you do this stuff. We've always said we want to work together. Yo, do you want to host? I'm like, oh, I appreciate it. No problem. I'm not like brother close with TZ, but it's like there's a lot of love. We always show each other. So you still put my name for something. I appreciate that. And then there's been other events where there's people like I've worked with like closely for some time. I have a stronger relationship with them. They've put other people's names for stuff. In the beginning, when I started this career, I used to get very emotional, stuff like that. But now, I guess you also have to, and I'm sure you can relate to in your field, where you also have to have that professional mind.
Yeah. So again, you're perfectly right, because the things I approach, or the way I approach things now compared to when I was younger. In fact, sometimes I look back and I'm like, sometimes you embrace the beauty of maturity. Sometimes you look back and you're like, it took me a while to get to this position, especially when it's a stage that you saw in other people. Right. So say, for example, you had some mentors, right? And you see how this mentor just easily, adapts to situations. He's closing business deals, and you look at that and you're like, man, I want to be this person. I want to be this, And so when you get to that stage and you're also closing some heavy deals and you're like, so this is what it feels like, So that's what I mean by embracing the beauty of maturity. And that's you really understanding that a lot has changed between your younger days and now. And of course, you're still growing and improving as you go, right? But there's so many things that you can instantly pick up on and be like, yeah, if I was 26 right now, I would have done this so differently. And looking at this now, if I was 25, I would have not made this decision. And, my age now is making me look at this differently and say, look, from what I've experienced and how I've done things in the past, this is not the way to go. So you mentioned there was something you mentioned off camera, a question you wanted to ask me about putting a girl on, and how that's transitioned. You mentioned
I get what you're saying, like, the expectations. So it's like, Let me give you an example. Do you expect a girl to still be if you're somebody that helped a woman through a certain phase, like you helped her get out of a really dark phase, or you were there for her in certain moments, do you still expect her to be there for you in the long run?
So this is a very good question, right? And I say it's a very good question because as much as we've said that, we're supposed to outgrow the mind of expectations, it will still always like crawl back to you, right? And so for me in particular, if I put someone on, honestly, I would say no, but I'll only say no not because I don't want to have the expectations. I actually do want to expect more if I help you. I want to, right? But at the same time, because I've been burned so many times, I negligibly just say, no, I don't expect anything. I've just done that for you and just go about your day. If you want to plug me into anything, that's fine. If you don't. But the truth is, we're at the age where we don't network just because it's fun. We network and we put people on because we also hope that, that is some sort of investment into something else, right? Now, not saying that the expectation is because I've done this, you must do it back. No, but it's more like I'm putting my time into something so that when your turn comes, I can reap that investment. I'm investing my time into making sure you get this job, making sure you get this position. I'm speaking with these people so that you can get this opportunity. It's not because I feel like I've put you in that position, but it's because I feel like, I invested some of my time in you. It would be nice if you invest some of your time in me. It doesn't have to be in the same capacity. It doesn't have to be in the same. It could even be something entirely different. Let's say I put you in a job now, and then you decide that the way you want to reinvest your time in me is that you want to look after my children, right? Or you want to help me babysit for free, or you want to even plug me. Okay, I'm looking for a driver, and you're like, oh, I actually got the best one. So it doesn't have to be the same capacity. It doesn't have to be that I found you a job, so you have to find me a job. You get what I'm saying? Or I brought you some money, you too, you must bring me some money. No, but I always like that, No, I'm saying so.
If I ain't gonna lie, if I'm bringing you quite a bit of money, then
no.
you would, you know what? Let me actually start being selfish because I ain't gonna lie to you. Nah,
But
if
you
I've been
just said
bringing,
you've grown out of this.
nah, I've grown out of stuff. But then this is like business talk now. If I've been bringing you money, I expect you to at least put me in a position. Not that you have to put me in a position, but if you can, then also look out for me because here's why I say I don't expect it, but you would hope to expect because I learned that there was a time I was making so many people money. Like again, this whole content thing that people are seeing now, was it not just a few years everybody was laughing, saying, oh, I don't know about TikTok. Look at everybody now. I used to make a lot of people money doing content and stuff. Never used to charge them. But all the people will go to their events and they'll be making money off the stuff. They never paid me. They didn't ask for it at the time. So once you've been making all this money, and the reason I didn't ask at the time is one thing I learned is that's why in business, always make sure you come with leverage. In terms of make sure you have something too.
Yeah,
so it's not like, oh, if this thing fails, I'm done. No, I had my stuff going. So me doing it for you is more like an added bonus. But I see you're making money and progressing. So my expectation will only be in any time in the future there's an opportunity. Or maybe I'm in a position. Hopefully, I can again see how I said. Still have to see. Hopefully, I can come to you that you put me in position to make some money since I made your business money. Some people haven't done that. I remember like one person did it to me like, and as I said, it was like they did it to me that it literally changed me, and I think that's what changed me as a person because it was like I've been making you money all this time, like indirectly or directly, however you want to say. But I know how much I've pushed your stuff. The one time now that I'm trying to make some money and not even over, like just small money, you change on me. What? Hey, say less. Say less. At first, there's going to be that anger. But then, like I said, you have to now come back and realize, like, hey, man, nobody owes you nothing. But you would expect. Like, for me now, if you've made, if you've made me money or put me a bit,
you will really feel like, I need to put that.
No matter what, not even that I have to be giving you money every time.
I have to put you on something.
Last, there's an effort I have to at least put in.
And that effort is the time investment I spoke about. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be in the same capacity. It doesn't even have to be the same amount of money. But
at least let there be an effort that you saw that, okay, this person went out their way to attempt to, but that's...
It doesn't even have to be a closed deal. It could even be that, you...
Get you in the door.
Exactly. It could even be that you didn't even get me in the door, but you showed so much attempt. Like, you really, really pushed to get me to that door. It didn't work out. I, on the other hand, would be like, yeah, this person's come through for me. I'm not going to feel at the back of my mind that I made her money. She's not, So in that situation, as long as she just invests as much time as I invest in her making her career or whatever it is, I'm okay with that, right? In whatever capacity. It could be, like I said, it could be my personal life, it could be my career, it could be in something entirely different from, all of that. So, but as long as I just feel that, I can see the same, it's almost as if it's respect for my time, so to say. As long as I can see the same respect for my time in being invested again, I'm like, okay, she's done what she needs to do, and after that I'm done. So, but we just say, okay, so I mean, we can draw away from the whole career talk now and then move into something a lot different that is still experiences from the 20s, transitioning into, or not transitioning into, but getting older and, just changing mindsets on stuff. And I think one for me, again, still spoke about this on our episode with the Low-Key Relatable podcast. Shout out to Valerie and Tommy.
Shout out to you guys.
How I view parents now.
You really are sticking on this.
No, you know why I say
God
this?
damn.
I say this because a lot of young people are still, in fact, what am I saying? A lot of people in their 30s, 40s are still trying to hold that. And a lot of us take that mantle and we carry it on to our children. This is why it's a problem for me. Like, you see this, I'm your parent, you're my child. They always try to create that distinct difference. Like, don't think you can relate to me on the same level. Don't you? And I find it as a problem because, you as a parent are not exactly making the best decisions either. There's so many things you're doing that
all firstborns know what we've been through.
There we go.
You don't realize we're actually the experiment. Like
literally,
my brother and I literally were talking about this yesterday.
Literally,
my brother is 21. I'm 31. The youngest is 20. This boy called me, Myra. You were right, man. Because the guy is working in London. He's making money because he's doing internship for a year, so he's making pounds. I'm like, hey, you better save every damn penny you make. And he's like, guy, this adult life, is it like, I now see what you mean. Because I'm like, bro, you think about it. When I was 21, I had you and my brother in the house. That means you were 11, he was 9. I'm still babysitting you guys. Mom is still trying to do this stuff then. She's not the same person then. And you see how life is. Compared to now, you guys are by yourselves. You're 21, 20. You're doing your own stuff. I'm 31. I have to live a whole different life. The versions of your mother you guys are even getting now is not the version I grew up with. In fact, that version now and it's like we still have to clash even because it's like this ain't the person that I grew up. Like, I know you. Like, I've had to, like, are you forget? Like, I remember I've had to tell my mom, like, yo, do you realize I've known you since you were in your 20s? Like, let that sink in. Like, I've known you since your 20s. I'm not saying you're the same. I'm like, nobody's trying to look down on you like, oh, damn. But it's like, I've seen your growth. I've seen you grow from the woman that was a young 20-something-year-old to now that's a grown woman with 3 children. You've had to adapt and change. But with me now as a firstborn, there's a lot of experimenting. There was a lot. And again, we grew up in America whereby you were a single mom then with 3 boys. Compared to Nigeria, even if you are still a single mom, family days, support day, our lives are different here. So your mindset is not even the same. So even now that we're trying to live life together as adults,
that's where I'm getting at with this.
You need to understand, like, there has to be boundaries. There also has to be levels of respect. And when they say that part now, it's like hell. It's like fight. Respect. Are we age mates?
Are we this? It's like you're asking me why I'm hammering on this still. See,
I'm like, no, I get why you. Obviously, that's why I was joking, but I understand it.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you not understand? If I've always respect, if we've never had issues of, there's always been fights of respect. What changes now because I'm an adult that acknowledges my feelings
and also, not just that experiences,
and also I'm an adult that notices, hey, I'm in my 30s now, which means the same relationship I had with you in my 20s is not going to be the same. How do we build this new relationship for the 30s now? Because I don't think you want me to be the same 20-something-year-old.
Not even that. Your life decisions are a lot different now. You're going to be thinking about so many different things now. You have a lot more life planning to do than before. My problem with that aspect of change is that you're now this new person that is now also making adult decisions, right? And when I put adult decisions in quote because, for some reason they don't see your 20s decisions as adult decisions for some reason. So now you're making...
It's not for some reason. It's because they were still financially supporting you until a certain point.
Exactly. So now you're making adult decisions and you're now in the position where you can tell them, well, I don't think what you're saying is right. Well, I think this decision you've made is completely false.
It makes no sense.
I feel like this can be done a lot better. In fact, the worst one they hate is calling them out on their bullshit.
Oh, I do that.
Say, for example, they're supposed to, maybe you have some documentation to do. They should do their part, you do yours. And then you don't yours, they should bring theirs. And they're like, I've still not done it. They're like, okay, you know what? Actually, let's address this. You're always delaying on this. Hey!
Then they want to bring up like, my mom does this shit, and I love her to death. My mom's my baby, but she does this thing where she'll bring up stuff from my 20s. And I'm like, I'm like, Mom, if I brought up everything you used to do in your own 30s now, you're not like me, because I remember everything. And that's for any parent, because you aren't the same person.
Exactly. And they don't know how to, there's almost no willingness.
Parents don't realize how much grace we give them.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because don't get me wrong, and I know parents are going to hear this now, and so Nigerian parents will be triggered. What do you mean by grace?
After I raised
hear me out. Nobody's not talking, because let me even say this now. When you say that, they're going to start saying, after everything I did for you, all that. Nobody's talking about the sacrifices you
grateful.
Made. We are more than grateful, and we know how hard it is, especially now that we're adults facing the same economic problems, and none of us have kids. All of you that have us and still making it work, we know you guys are doing your most. But the way some parents communicate or relate with their children, that is where there's an issue. And there's always this thing of hierarchy of, oh, I'm your parent, I'm older. When do you realize there's a lot of generational curses a lot of you parents can break with us in terms of the relationship you have with your children by just simply having conversations?
Not even just that. Apart from just the conversation, like, actually allow for them to be the person they need to be as an adult. Because as much as you even see, they will tell you that Shebi have allowed us to have a conversation. But in that conversation, the details of it is that they're still not letting you voice your opinion. They're still telling you that, what do you know? When I was this age, I had to do this, I had to do this, I had to do that. I'm like, this has nothing to do with my current reality as an adult. I'm telling you, in my current reality as an adult, this thing you're doing cannot work.
There was one day, oh my God, my mom, I know for the longest, my mom did not think me doing my events, my stuff was not a real job, right? And when I say not a real job, is because obviously she's thinking of the 9 to 5 as part you're out of the house by 8 o'clock and then you're back by 6. Meanwhile, my own job now, there's some days I can be out the house by 7, or there's some days I'm not home till 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m.
Or some days you're just at home.
Or some days you're just working from home because I've been out 3 nights in a row for work. So we used to have those fights about when she'll tell me, you don't have a real job, not working. I'm like, can you actually stop saying that? Because I know what I have to go through to go and set up these events up, to go and look for sponsors, to go and look for money. I'm paying millions each time. Do you know how much I'm actually spending on salary? Alone, and yet I'm not an adult. I'm not doing anything. It's just party. Exactly. But you don't realize you as a parent, your words have so much power, because you saying that now, you're also demotivating the child down. Like, There's one thing I get jealous of with, I can't lie. I'm not saying they're not black parents, and I'm not saying my mom hasn't supported. She's supported me a lot on everything I've done. But Nigerian parents, we all know what the struggles we go through. When I say, you look at some white parents now, like I looked at Tom Brady. Tom Brady recently did an interview on the Pivot podcast. And he was talking about how his biggest supporter was his dad. That one thing his parents always did is no matter what he did, they supported it 100. And that's the same mentality he's carrying with his children. And that's what helped him get through college, everything. Mind you, this boy wasn't like the highest recruited guy, all that. He worked hard because people believed in him. And I'm just looking at a simple mentality like that. Like, yo, imagine if some of you Nigerian parents, the way you support, you already put us in certain positions and guide us. That's why we're all doing what we need to do at this young age. But imagine if we just had that support that wasn't a fight or clash back. Imagine that clash was support. Do you know what more we could be doing?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that to them, they've supported you because they've imposed what they believe you should be doing on you, and that's their version of support. And so when you try to work back on that, I mean, especially when it's something that doesn't, like you said, like if you're into entertainment, if you're into something that is not, how would I say, tangible is what they would call it, right? Something they can't put their finger on and say.
Like a 9 to 5, you can see promotion that he's this role. Entertainment, it can be here.
So because they don't see it as tangible, they don't see it as something you can, there's no security around it, so to say. They see it as, that's something you can be doing as a hobby. What do you mean a hobby? I have full passion on this. Like, let's capitalize on this and make money. And so what happens is you end up being in your rebellious phase. And in your rebellious phase, you end up, not all the time people are successful, but when you end up being successful, they now start supporting you. And that's when you now see them saying, are you not recording this song today?
It took all the aunties and uncles in my family to make my mom actually see that, okay, this
There
shit
might
is
be
legit.
something here.
Because there was five then every auntie, I've seen him and his friend on Menisms. Sunday last year. The worst is when all her international friends, all their kids will be coming in December. Yeah, all my children want to go to this last year. I'm just like,
Can you see? You know, and
but what would you
Yeah.
say from the experiences you've been through?
yeah.
Do you honestly feel like you're going to change as a parent, or because I've realized something and I'm going to give our parents grace, because I don't believe all of them said they're going to end up
It's
like
conditioning.
this.
It's conditioning. In fact, it took me sitting down with my mom. And I mean sitting down as an adult in my 30s, because I had to understand. So I'm someone who likes to understand why you're being this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I get the root of it, I can then decide if, okay, this is a solvable problem. We can discuss how to resolve this and move forward amicably. Or this is beyond me. Let's just, respectfully have this relationship, but from afar. And so I had to sit down and really understand. Bro, when I tell you, a lot of it was just what she believed was supposed to be based on how she was raised. And that is, okay, because of what she's been exposed to, the parent is like this, the child is like this. You must always put your child in this place. And so remind them that you are the parents. It's just stuff like that. And it started making me now see the sentimental side of it. Where it's like, it's actually not her fault. Like, it's not like she's intentionally wanting to be this person.
Mm-hmm.
She's just been so conditioned over the years that there's just
the difference
nothing
with
else.
their generation and our generation is, I'll say, the internet. In terms of the millennials, we were the first generation. Not the first. I'll take that back, because every generation has been a generation of, in their time, asking why,
right,
or saying no. But the difference with us, our generation, was the internet, whereby those opinions now can be videoed, can be, like, not to say it wasn't then, but YouTube came about when we were all teenagers. Social media, that
so it reached a wider crowd.
It reached a wider crowd, that the bigger population now can start sharing that message even more, which means everybody now is like, if the majority of people are actually noticing this, or the truths are coming out, you start comparing facts. It's like, okay, exactly. Maybe there's different questions. Then to them, it's whoever told you this is law.
Yeah. And I mean, in your question asking if I think I'm going to be the same kind of parent or I'm going to be different, to be honest, I definitely am not going to be the same kind of parent. I'm going to take things from both of them, both my mom and dad, right? My dad had his own way of raising me, and my mom they were very different parents. Two of them, very different parents. Mm-hmm. But of course, in their union, they had their own agreements. I now don't know if they sat down together and said, okay, you be the good parents while I be the bad one. I have no idea. Maybe it's another conversation I'll have with them. But I'll definitely take things from them. And some of those things put together, I'm taking all the things I hated experiencing while growing up, and I'm telling myself not to do those things, right? And one of them is, like you said, proper communication with my child. Like, I shouldn't feel like I know what's best for the child all the time. Sometimes hearing what the child thinks is best for them opens a door to something I'm not even thinking about, right? It could even be that my child comes to me and says, oh, Dad, I want to be a pianist. Whereas I can literally see every day he's on the piano, just by nature of just what he loves. And if I hear that, okay, he wants to take it a step further and not just make it a hobby, that's him opening a door to something I wasn't even thinking about. Because I would just look at it as, okay, he likes piano, that's it. But I'm still thinking, I want something more secure, which is how our parents were thinking, right? But because I'm a little more exposed and I experienced those things in the harsher way that I didn't want it as well, that whole imposing what they want rather than what I wanted, when I would like to give the floor to my child to say, okay, what do you want? What do you like to do? If he says, oh, actually, I want to go into music, if I see that he's showing some interest or not even any interest at all, I'm like, okay, so what do you tell me about the music? What do you like about music? If it's something concrete I can build on, I'll say yes. If I feel like it's a fleeting idea, I'll just be like, okay, we'll give it a shot, but I don't think you have the talent.
If your child is shit, are you going to
say that again?
If your child ain't good, are you going to tell them?
Oh yeah, I think I will. I'll be supportive in a way. I'll be like, look, I don't think this is the direction for you. Like, maybe try something else. Do some, maybe production, maybe do the. I'll try it in a way that I don't want to make them feel like their passion for music is has no grounding.
Fair.
Maybe try something else instead. Try this instead. Maybe this is what it is about music you like. Maybe you're not the singing type. Maybe you're the backstage.
I'm gonna
type.
have a prove it to me mentality for my kids in terms of.
I agree with you.
I'm gonna really like communicate, like hands on with them. not over baby them, but they'll be pumped. Like they're gonna be baby. Like I mean, I'm not gonna be say I want to do. I don't want my. I don't want. I had to grow up. I'm. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna put them in some situations that they are gonna have to learn to build toughness.
Right.
Which is similar to what my mom did, and then obviously based off like how we grew up. Like my mom and I at first, before my brothers came, they were like being an only child and being independent. You learn to do a lot of things. So I want to do that for my children also, where they learn to build that toughness. But at the same time, I'm going to be very hands-on with them. And for anything they want to do, you have to prove it to me. So if you tell me you want to do something, I will not knock you off it, but prove it to me. If you can't prove it to me or I don't see the seriousness in you, I'm going to tell you straight up that I can't support it because you are not even proving it to yourself that you want to do it.
Exactly.
If I see you are actually making the effort, I have no reason why I shouldn't support you. And even if you are bad, but you are working at it, there's a point that I'll still support you unless it's a case like, oh yeah, we got to try something new. But at least I know you still pushed at it, because that lesson of you not quitting immediately and still trying and trying is going to somehow benefit you in the long run. So that's how
because truth is, and I think that's another thing. Also, as a parent, doing your homework in the field that this child says they want to get into is also another aspect, because a lot of people have the closed-minded version of what you say you want to do. I want to do music. Instantly, you're thinking singing or rapping. You're not even thinking, I want to be an instrumentalist for this. I want to pivot into that, or I want to just be a producer, or I just want to be a backstage. I want to be a backup singer. It could be anything outside of the mainstream singing, but it's still something that I would love to do. So if I see that, because as a child, I also feel like what I want is musically mainstream one. If I see as a parent that my child is not exactly having talent in this aspect, I would try to be like, okay, you know what? I've seen that there are other aspects to this music thing you want to do. Try this other side instead. It's still under the umbrella of music.
They also have to make the effort to understand, like, okay, where can they go for this? What can they do for this? Like,
It's like being an artist now, and then you say, oh, I want to be an artist. Instantly, you're thinking, okay, you paint on a canvas. Being an artist could be a sculptor as well. And what I like to do is just make sculptures.
It's like finding camps. Like my mom used to do this thing before, where she used to like find camps for me,
right?
And then some of them were sports camps too. So it's like, okay, he likes sports. Okay, there's sports here. So there's an effort she made to at least see
what direction
the thing he likes. Okay, let him do this. Exactly. So you're right. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, I think as usual we've run out of time again. Right.
Well, did you say any final remarks? Any things I noticed something that I was going to say, because I want to call out some of our people on our show, but because I have love for them. If you notice this episode, because I've been noticing on the comments, I don't ever read comments. Somebody sent them to me. It's like, oh man, why are they attacking you? I said, what happened? From the last episode, everybody's saying, my God, you are never letting. You have fans, bro. God damn, you have some women that are fighting for you. I'm like, is it because I'm not on the streets anymore? Before it used to be switched to. The girls used to fight for me. Now they don't fight for me. They're like, let him speak. I'm just like, do you guys realize, like, it's like having a conversation with your friend. You can never determine. Even now, some days I'm trying to keep going
because there'll be some hot ideas.
And the thing is, the same people that say these things, like, I want to see you and your friend when you discuss. Let's just see how you are. But it's okay. I've seen it. I've heard it. No problem. We're working on it. Right. But thank you for watching, Sha.
Yeah.
But self plugs.
No self plugs for me for now. Just keep staying healthy. Keep being happy. Keep being peaceful. Be peaceful. Yeah, it's such a key thing.
Especially in Lagos, man. Try and be. I've realized in Lagos, you have to just find the right community or find a hobby or something that just makes you happy in this Lagos.
Oh, yeah, and not just happy, out zone. Takes you out of the zone.
Yeah, yeah. And that was why I said I haven't been doing that this last month, and I have like the way I've not been playing sports, gymming like I should. So I said, you know what? New month is coming. I'm going back doing the things I love, so this country doesn't stress me.
Yeah, that's it. I've been playing sports back to back, and it's helping me out a lot. Yeah. So again,
thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe to all our audio channels. Subscribe to our YouTube. Subscribe to our Spotify, Apple Music, everything. You guys are going to see a lot of new updates coming from us on Menisms and some more surprises. So until next time, I am Michael Scenario,
and I'm Murawa,
and we will see you next week on Menisms.